Hello everyone. So I'm probably one of the last people to review this car, but I prioritize some other cars over Hot Wheels. But this is definitely a cool looking car, so I did get it eventually. And let's do a review, and I think this might be one of those 3D wheel projects that I do. So the first thing I want to do is check the scale of this thing. And seems as though the internet's telling me this wagon, or the estate as it's called by Europeans, has a length of 4450 millimeters. So let me put that into the calculator, and then look at the calipers, measure this out, zero it out. So 72 millimeters. Yeah, this is quite small actually. It's around 162 scale. So that's too bad. Okay. Let's just now take a look at the photos and see how good it looks next to these photos here. Let me get a better angle there. Okay, well, you got the location of the taillights seem correct. They're a bit big on the Hot Wheels, it seems. Obviously this thing is totally slammed and those wheels aren't realistic, but it's okay. The window, well, also this is a 4-door I pulled up a picture of. There aren't many photos. I didn't even know this thing came in a 2-door wagon, but apparently it does. So I have these images of a 4-door, so I apologize for that. I didn't even catch that. But the overall outline does look quite similar. It's pretty cool actually. Okay, what about the front view? Different angle. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think it looks pretty close. The only thing he's missing is those little bumperettes, the vertical part of the bumper on the Hot Wheels. It seems to be missing. Although I'm not really sure if all these estates came with those. Maybe it's a certain year it came like that. Okay, well, I guess you can decide for yourself if you think it's good enough resembling the photos or not. But let's get into the model here. Some of the things I found out about this estate is based on the 121 or the 122S Amazon, and then there's over 73,000 examples of this estate wagon were built between 1962 and 1969. It's supposedly the first mass-produced vehicle with standard front seat belts. And then the designer Jan Wilsgaard, I'm not Swedish, so I don't know how to pronounce that name, but he says this car was inspired by a Kaiser car that he saw. Kaiser was an old American brand out of Michigan, so I never knew that either. Sounds like a German company, but it must have been a German living in Michigan. Okay, so that's really all I found out about the car itself, so let's look into the casting. As you can see, it's pretty nice. I mean, it's this cool British racing green. A little bit of paint problems though there. It's not the smoothest paint application, so it's too bad. The wheels are pretty cool. I mean, they're mini lights, which are European, but I'm gonna try to maybe go with the stock wheels. Okay, so yeah, there's a crazy looking brown roll cage in that interior. I guess it's the raced out wagon here. Okay, going to the front, we got the nice printing on the headlights. And they look three-dimensional even though they're not. So it's kind of cool that Hot Wheels does that. I wish other brands would do that. Unfortunately, I'm gonna guess this black doesn't belong here. So that's too bad. It seems like it's an error. Okay, we got some silver plastic with really thin grill texture there. And then Volvo is printed pretty nice there. The turn signals, they do seem to be orange and white on the real car, so the printing might, I don't know, maybe it could have been better if like this section here was orange. Okay, we got some silver paint to indicate the chrome piece here. Unfortunately, my silver paint is not hitting the mark. It's a bit off to the right side, so that's too bad. Okay, let's see here, what is that? Wait, some sort of thing going on there. So this paint, yeah, or the casting has a lot of gouges in it. And then there's no silver paint around this windshield here, which is kind of odd because they did do it on this side, right? If this is a premium, I kind of feel like they should have hit this window molding with some silver paint. Okay. So now I'm noticing on this side, I didn't even notice it before, we got some sort of badge there. I assume it has to be something 220 or something. No, 122, which is, I guess, the car it was based off of. Okay, silver on the door handle looks pretty good. I like how this line, you know, this line kind of swoops down. Gives it a really sporty look. Pretty cool. Good styling, Mr. Wilsgard. Okay, so on the back here, it seems like there's some printing there on the trunk latch. Yeah, I guess that must say Volvo. The camera can't. There it is. Okay. Yeah, so it's a little off center again. In fact, all this printing is off. It should be a little bit higher. You know, this is all printed at these three at the same time, but they missed the mark, unfortunately. The taillights, this one's not so great. This side's a little better, you know, with the separation. Unfortunately, a little red chip missing there. The red isn't actually thick there. The silver's showing through. And then they did hit the window molding on the back. So it's really kind of weird that the front wouldn't have the silver around the windshield. So unfortunately, this might be one of the worst premium Hot Wheels I've purchased because of its basically the printing isn't very good here, and then it just seems to be missing. I don't know why they would ignore that. So a couple budget cuts there, and then yeah, the printing isn't good there, and I don't feel like, oh wait, there is orange here. Alright, so I didn't even notice it before. I'm looking at this through my camera screen, so there is orange on that, so that's good. Okay, it's still a cool model, I think. I'm pretty sure this is the only model of this particular car in this relative scale. Am I correct? Or did some premium brand make this in 1/64? Oh boy, more. Look at these gouges, right? The casting problems. It's too bad. So when was this casting made? 2020. It's pretty new. I have a suspicion when these come out of the mold, they clip them off the sprue and they literally just throw them into a bin. So like car bodies are falling onto other car bodies, and maybe that's causing this. Because I can't imagine the mold is that messed up where it would have these casting problems. It's probably like a post-casting production problem. Okay, so unfortunately with so much distortion in the glass, it's really hard to see this interior, but I'll try to illuminate it. Well, that's actually a better steering wheel than usual from Hot Wheels. Usually Hot Wheels, they just have a flat face, but this one actually has spokes and a center hub on the steering wheel, so that's pretty cool. It's got some gauges or something on the passenger side. And then, yeah, what is this going on back here? It's just a brown roll cage. Okay, yeah, so interesting. It's one of the better interiors from Hot Wheels that I've seen so far. Maybe probably because this mold was from 2020. Okay. Alright guys, well, give me a moment and we'll see what happens with like the kind of wheels I do. Not sure. Okay, and so here we are. This time around I decided to just make hubcaps. So I didn't make my own wheels. I kept the original wheels, although I did paint them silver, and then I printed the hubcaps and I super glued them inside the original wheels. If you look right here, you can actually see the shiny chrome as the holes spin. The holes actually do pass air like a real steel wheel would. I do have to tell you guys, it's really hard to paint these wheels because you can't get the tire off the wheel because it's so sunken in underneath the bodywork. So I just held the tire back a little bit and then I painted it as well as I could. So that's how I went about it. Maybe if you tried really hard you could get the tire out of there, but I didn't want to tear it. Okay, so I didn't do anything else to the model. You know, Hot Wheels painted pretty much everything else for me, so I think that's great. Here's a photo of a real car, and it's got the steel wheels and the center hubcaps. There is a V logo in the middle, and I did have one in here. It's just that it's so small that it would be impossible to paint, and I think it was so thin that the paint, this black paint, may have covered up most of the edges anyways. So these are the challenges of making a 1/64 scale model. Okay, so let's let this go for a little spin here. So it's a cool model, you know, that Hot Wheels did with this premium. Sorry, cat here. If you're really, you know, adamant about buying these wheels, I did post these up on shapeways.com. You just gotta do a search for like Hot Wheels Volvo wheel set or hubcaps, and they'll pop up. But that place is expensive. When the words 1/64 and 3D printing are mentioned in the same sentence, the third word would be expensive. So it's really meant for smaller scale hobbyists, I think. Alright then, well, I appreciate you guys watching, and as the Swedish say, ayer.